my old friends and colleagues, who some of whom I haven't seen in actually 60 years, but others who I've kept in touch with. And Hughes, thank you so much for showing up. It's such a great pleasure to have you. Not just those in my personal bubble, whom I love and care about, but people across all strata of society and around the world has been my major focus. I directly relate that to my humanities training here at Holy Cross and to the Jesuit emphasis on social justice and service to others. To this day, that broad perspective has been invaluable to me as a public health official grappling with the challenges posed by the global pandemic of COVID-19 among larger issues of health inequities and political divisiveness that has been laid bare by this pandemic.
Walls continue to advance knowledge, serve others, and make you proud. I want to begin by telling all of you, welcome home, welcome back. It's so good to have you here for your delayed, but still very, very meaningful 50th reunion. It's hard when you think, I mean, 50 years goes by pretty quickly. I've heard a lot of you tell me.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
It seems like yesterday. But what I think is so impressive is how relationships, despite the passage of time, remain so strong. And you all are an embodiment of one of the things that makes this college such a special place. The deep, deep commitment you all have to one another. And it's something that has impressed me so very deeply in my first year here. And it's just such a lovely thing to witness. And you waited 2 years for this special day. It's great to finally be able to gather in person. And I can just see now that people are back, just what we lost, what we missed, but we're going to make up for lost time. Now, of course, the world has changed quite a bit since your student days here on Mount St. James. But as I said, what remains unchanged is your support of your alma mater and the friendships that you have sustained. Now, I have to say, you as a class have taken an amazing journey. You are a unique class in so many ways. I was speaking with several of you before the speaking portion of the program began, and I was reminded of the many things you experienced during your time here that made you a pretty unique group. Exams canceled. I think there was an interesting event, an attempt to introduce women to the college during your time here, during a visit that was rather successful, apparently, and then led to a meaningful introduction of women to the college in 1972. Lots of things going on in history, Vietnam, Cambodia. But one thing that struck me too is, what we've endured recently with COVID is a reminder, and I think it was important. It was something some of us tried to tell young people these past few years, that you're not the only people who have suffered disruption and managed to move forward despite the disruption. And it's an important lesson, I think, for our young people to have. And so I encourage you, I know you're probably doing that, but I encourage you to share this experience with some of our young men and women, to remind them how despite what you endured 50 years later, many, many wonderful things have happened, and as I said earlier, your relationships have only strengthened and remained. I wanted to tell you a story that I've been sharing this reunion weekend with the classes, because I think it's another way to really think about how unique and distinctive Holy Cross is as a college. And it connects us, again, from across the generation. So as you know, just a couple of weeks ago, we had our commencement here down at the DCU Center. And we had a wonderful speaker and honorary degree recipient, Dr. Abraham Verghese. Some of you may have read some of his books. He wrote a novel called Cutting for Stone that won some awards. And so we were very pleased to welcome him to the college to be our speaker, and expected that he would begin his remarks by talking about all this the wonderful things he's done, or at least alluding to them. But that's not what he did. He began his speech by telling the story of a young man raised by a single mother in Somerville. And when it came time for this young man to go to college, he chose Holy Cross. And he had 3 wonderful years at the college. And then in his senior year, his mother passed away, which is a tragedy, of course, but in his particular case, it also meant that his younger sister, who was still in high school, needed to be supported. They were effectively orphaned, and he had to take care of his sister. So he assumed that that meant that he'd be dropping out. So he was prepared to do that, but at his mother's funeral, as he and his sister got out of the limousine, taking them to the funeral, they saw cars and buses full of people from Holy Cross, Jesuits, administrators, students. And those people told him before the funeral, "You're not leaving. You are not leaving Holy Cross. Just know that when this funeral is over, everything that you need is going to be taken care of." So his sister was able to get what she needed, the care she needed. He was able to finish his studies, and he went off to medical school. Now, as I said, Dr. Verghese is a very impressive man, and he was telling this lovely story, but I want to tell you a little bit about him. I mean, he's an endowed professor at Stanford. He's a critically acclaimed best-selling author, National Humanities Medal winner. But the man he was talking about from Holy Cross happens to be his boss, Bob Harrington, Holy Cross class of 1982. Now, he could have told a story, Dr. Verghese, about Dr. Harrington and all of the wonderful accomplishments of Dr. Harrington, Stanford cardiologist, clinical researcher, head of the American Heart Association, someone who oversees thousands of employees, millions of dollars in research funding. But he didn't. He spoke about men and women serving others, because that's what his relationship with Bob Harrington had taught him about this particular Jesuit value. He talked about how Bob speaks and texts daily to a group of classmates from 40 years ago. He talked about how Bob loves the Red Sox and reading and Holy Cross. And in that moment, among the many beautiful words that Dr. Verghese spoke that day, it really became clear to me. That is the Holy Cross magic. You never forget the lessons you were taught here. You believe deeply in service for and with others. And you love your alma mater and want to share it with the world. And we should all be so lucky. And indeed, all of these messages interconnect, as do our Jesuit Catholic traditions of imparting timeless knowledge and creating the ethical foundations for lives of meaning. And for more than a half a century now, you have joined your hearts and your minds, creating lifelong bonds as you've shared the meaning and purpose of your unique experience here at Holy Cross. And I hope this weekend you've shared your experience with one another and you've remembered to savor the bonds of your remarkable friendships. Now, like you, Holy Cross has changed a lot over the years. The campus has evolved. Our most recently completed building, the Joe, which was opened during the pandemic, and that's evidence of our focus on student health and wellness and campus safety. Prior Performing Arts Center, this gorgeous building by the parking lot here, is scheduled to open in a few months, and it reflects our commitment to the arts in every aspect of the Holy Cross experience. And let's not forget how the Luth Athletic Complex has enhanced the lives of our Division I athletes, and how beautiful the Joyce Contemplative Center in West Boylston is, and how it offers spiritual grounding for all members of our Holy Cross community. And of course, I'm living proof that the faculty and the administration have changed since your time here. But make no mistake, the nature of who we are and the work that we do has not. So today we remain the only Catholic and Jesuit liberal arts college in America devoted to undergraduate education. We maintain strong student-faculty relationships built on excellence in academics as well as personal connection. We continue to educate the whole person and believe that spiritual and moral development is equally important to intellectual achievement. We live as people for and with others, seek social justice in our personal and professional lives, never losing sight of the marginalized or those who need our optimism and support, and from whom we will always learn. Soon we'll be launching a new strategic plan that will prioritize academic excellence and the residential experience here at Holy Cross, and continue to make the college accessible and affordable while strengthening the athletics, arts, and the exceptional research, co-curricular, spiritual, wellness, and study abroad experiences that we're so well known for. Or to put it more simply, to further strengthen the college that you have already made great. And I look forward to our work together. I want to thank all of you who have honored the college with your work and commitment. I want to particularly thank this wonderful group of men from the class of 1970 who share such closeness and camaraderie. And in particular, I want to acknowledge your wonderful class chairs, Tom Mulvihill and John Hussey, and class gift chairs, Mike Jean and Jim Tracy. Your dedication to Holy Cross and to one another is extraordinary. Again, I am so proud to be in this position, to be the leader of this wonderful college, and I wish you a wonderful evening and an extraordinarily wonderful weekend. Enjoy your time here on the Hill, and I hope to see you more in the day ahead, someday. All right, take care.
Kid Hughes is here, and he just came to the college this year. Not too long ago, as the athletic director. He went to some school in Maine. We won't even mention it, but it's Bowdoin. Not known for its athletics, but he played hockey and he did some other things there. He was a very impressive man, and he's got some things where he's going to take care of business that hasn't been taken care of in a long time. Kid Hughes.
A lot of different people, in the room, and just for the warm welcome that you've provided me since I joined the college in January. It's been a real honor to come here and serve as your director of athletics, and I couldn't be more excited about the days ahead. I'm extremely excited for a week from this Monday for my family to actually finally join me here in Worcester, and so I can't wait for them to get here. Opportunity to have lunch with your classmate Rick DeAngelis, and where is he? Rick's here somewhere. Yeah, but there he is, right on cue. Just walked in. There he is. So we had a chance to get together and meet and talk about his passion for school, and really, I heard the same thing from Rick that I've heard from so many Holy Cross alums since I started, and it's how can I help? How can I help? How can I get involved? And how can I help us move forward? And in talking to people who share that perspective with me, it just makes me incredibly optimistic for our opportunity to do what we're going to do here together. And as I reflected on the remarks for this evening, that word together kept coming up. I know Vince used it earlier. It's come up many times, whether you pinpointed it or not. And in the story of this class of 1970 and the football season that was lost, it certainly continued to come up as a common theme. It's an honor, as I said, to commemorate a really significant chapter in the Holy Cross athletics history. The rest of us learned just 2 years ago the impact of quarantines and the disappointment of a shortened or even lost season. But the Holy Cross football squad of 1969 learned all about lockdown over 50 years ago. It was August 29th, 1969, 2 days into a preseason practice, which I'm sure was particularly grueling given that time of the year. I'm told it was a hot day in Worcester. I think we can all imagine that. And to stay hydrated, many of the team unknowingly drank from a faucet that was later found to be contaminated with hepatitis. A month later, after playing just 2 games, teammates began to fall ill. By October 6th, it was clear what was happening, and Coach Bill Witten and Athletic Director Vince Doherty announced that the season was over. Those of you who weren't in the hospital or in the campus infirmary were quarantined in Hanselman Hall. The national press wrote about you, including the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and Newsweek. Knowing that the college would take a significant financial hit with the cancellation of the season, Dartmouth proposed that all Division I schools make a donation to the Crusaders. In the end, $35,000 was raised. And for reasons no one's been able to determine, Sacramento State dedicated its entire season to Holy Cross, wearing purple jerseys in every game to show their sympathy.
Yeah, you told me something was happening.